What is up, everybody? It's Vicious here, and I'm going to be looking at this 3 minute and 35-second video from HTK. That's H, the letter H, the letter T, and the letter K. He has this video entitled "My Problem with DNF Duel," and he says a couple of things. I haven't finished watching the video yet. There's already a couple of things early on I really wanted to talk about, so let's go ahead and let's go through it.
So as most of you already know, DNF Duel is coming out in roughly 3 to 4 days. While the game looks cool and has rollback netcode and all of the above and blah 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 blah, I'm a little bit concerned with the game.
Okay, so I don't really have a huge problem with what he said so far. I know, we're really just really early on, it's only 14 seconds into his video, but the FGC is kind of funny because we wanted rollback netcode for so long, and it's like now rollback netcode is just, it's cool, it has rollback netcode. That's pretty much like the feeling every time a game comes out with rollback netcode. I'm not saying that we should be on our knees thanking the developers, but it's just funny how we got this and we're just like, yeah, good. You know what I mean? There are still some games that have delay based netcode, by the way. There's still some games that really could benefit from rollback netcode, but anyway, I'm gonna go forward.
Game's lifespan, so to speak, because it's suffering from the same thing that a lot of fighting games suffer from. And yeah, I just wanted to share my concerns on video, because that's what you do when you have concerns, is share them on video. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, so if we if we scroll down here, right, we can see the modes and features, supported languages about the game, blah 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 blah. But I'm more concerned about this right here, the modes and features, right? So we have online mode, rank mode, player match, ranking, local mode, free battle, story mode, blah 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 blah. This looks very very bare for a video game that's $50. I'm not gonna lie.
Hold that thought. All right, we back. So one of HTK's complaints is, and I understand his complaint fully, but I think there's a little bit of nuance to it, and I think that there's definitely a change in the market for fighting games. So what he's about to say, or actually, let me just make sure that we have the full thought out. Let's go ahead and listen to him a little bit.
Audio like there's almost nothing here for a casual player.
All right, so this is what I wanted to say, and this is what I was going to type on his video, but I felt like it'd be better to say in my video form. Where exactly are we drawing the line with casual player modes? Because when I was coming up, I feel like mid 2000s and fighting games, even though 2D fighters weren't really doing a lot of things, I was playing Bloody Roar, I was playing Tekken, I was playing Soul Calibur during that time frame. And most notably, to me, at the very least, Tekken, because it's my favorite fighting game franchise, even though Soul Calibur 3 probably had some the best offline content you could have around that time frame. In 2005, this is what Tekken 5's menu looked like. So there was story battle, in which you would play through the story mode. You would have one or two rival fights, and then you'd fight the boss. You'd have a prologue. Sometimes you'd have an interlude. Sometimes you'd have, or not sometimes, all the time you'd have an epilogue. There would be an ending. Then there's arcade battle, infinite fights, basically what Ghost Battle and Treasure Battle evolved into with Tekken later on down the line. Time Attack was a staple. Versus, of course, Team Battle was a favorite of mine. Survival, definitely something fun to do, test your skills, practice, of course. Now, here's where we get to the stuff that really is not prototypical of fighting games, right? Especially for the time frame. We have Tekken Devil Within. Tekken Devil Within was Tekken Force mode, which was kind of Final Fight. In Tekken 3 and Tekken 4, they had Tekken Force, where you could run around in 3D and stuff and fight hordes of enemies. It was pretty okay, it was pretty cool. Tekken Ball, I like Tekken Ball more, But it was a unique mode, and it's fun to watch and it's fun to play, and especially fun to play when you're playing with your friends. Because who doesn't like a beat 'em up? And Tekken Double Within function basically is Tekken Force, but not as good because you didn't get the full move set with the character. You only got to play as Jin, and he had his own little like spin-off story thing, and that was cool. For the time it came out, wasn't as good as Tekken Force, but it was cool that they did something specifically catered to Jin. I think. Then there's this one right here, Arcade History. You motherfuckers don't know nothing about arcade history. So arcade history was raw on Tekken 5, and I don't think that like people appreciate Tekken 5 vanilla enough for this because basically you got to play the arcade game that came with Tekken 5, like the shooting game from Bandai Namco, or back then it was Namco, and you got the arcade version of Tekken 1, the arcade version of Tekken 2, and the arcade version of Tekken 3. Basically, all these games had all the characters unlocked already. The only difference being is they had the arcade themes instead of like the PS1 themes that they got when they came to console. And Tekken 3 doesn't feel as good as the other two games because the other two games have all the characters except for like Double Kazuya, if I remember correctly. And Double Kazuya on Tekken 1, that is. And on Tekken 3, they're missing Dr. Boskanovich, if I remember correctly. So, and Gon, if I remember correctly as well. But yeah, then there's theater mode, which, most games have gallery mode now. Customization, where you can customize the character's looks. You don't have that in many games. Mostly 3D games. Melty Blood has customization, and it's growing. They keep adding more colors. Then there's options. Now, let's take a look to Tekken 7, if you don't mind. All right, so here's online and offline, and it doesn't show everything with offline right here. I should have got a better picture. But offline mode involves story, arcade. No, I think it's story, treasure battle, practice, and I don't even think it has survival mode. But we have team battle, survival, practice, time attack, team battle. They got axed. And we had to have DLC for another offline mode, which was a Tekken Bowl. And, sorry, guy, whose picture I'm using, you're just the first thing I've seen on Google for the menu. There's customization and there's jukebox. If you have the Xbox or the PC version, jukebox doesn't even appear. Gallery, options, player information, which could be found in options on Tekken 5, and PlayStation Store and VR mode. I don't even count VR mode as a separate mode. So basically, for offline, you have treasure battle, story, and there might be survival. But then there's Tekken Bowl, I believe. Honestly, I think it pales in comparison to what you get at a Tekken 5. Hell, Tekken Tag 2 had more stuff. But I think that games all the time especially fighting games, are like losing content. And Multi Blood, I believe that there's time attack. Let me look that up. Okay, so in Melty Blood, that's another one. I should have looked better. There's single play versus network training, customized gallery option. Single play. Let's just go ahead and guess that they have time attack and survival right now. I don't remember because I don't do single play a lot. I'm not the type of casual gamer. I'm doing the quotation fingers that my guy is talking about. Casual gaming on this game to me is getting on and playing the game and playing with people online, but he means something a little bit more different. This game having free battle, story mode, arcade mode, survival mode, practice mode, training and tutorial. This is not too different from what's available right now. I don't know what else you want from this. You know what I mean? I guess time attack would be nice, but they have free battle, which is basically score attack, from what I understand. They have the gallery mode. They have pretty much everything that you could need. If you want more stuff, it'd be interesting if it had a Grand Blue Fantasy type mode. But honestly, I thought that mode in Grand Blue Fantasy wasn't that good. But let's continue.
And I get it. Like, this game probably wasn't made for casual fans. These fighting games usually never are.
Well, this game was made for people who enjoy PvP and DFO, I believe, but I could be wrong.
They make changes to the gameplay sometimes with like auto combos and shit, but that's kind of surface level shit that really isn't. It really doesn't keep people playing the game. It might get them into it, but it doesn't keep people playing the game, if that makes any sense. Like, the inputs thing, you already know how I feel about that. Complicated inputs are mad outdated. I've said this several times, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care how many of y'all clown me for it or whatever. Y'all are clowns if y'all think complicated inputs need to stay in fighting games. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I agree with him there. If you think that complicated inputs, overly complicated inputs, at least, like, half circle back, then, like, you had to do something with the upward motions, like the ones that you don't normally touch, like the 360 motions and stuff like that. If you think that that has a future, I don't know what to tell you. So I agree with them on that. The simple inputs on this game, though, I feel like, is being a bit, what's the word? I guess I could say undermined. The inputs in this game, because they work similar to the way Grand Blue Fantasy works, that's a plus. What's even more of a plus is you're not like that. You're not disciplined for it, because Grand Blue Fantasy versus, there's a cooldown period, and you have a longer cooldown when you use a simple input. As far as I know, you don't have like any like detriment to you, and honestly, it makes things a little bit smoother. Like, try running forward and then doing quarter circle forward on any 2D fighting game. That shit feels weird. A lot of times you'll end up doing Dragon Punch because, from what I understand, I think the game doesn't register you hitting forward the first time because you're running, and you're recovering from running or something. I don't know, something like that. But let's continue.
But for $50, I feel like there should be more than this. Not to mention that this game is releasing with 16 characters. That's very that's extremely bare. Fighting games aren't known for having a whole bunch of content in them.
Okay, so here's what I have to say to that, and I'll bring up some visual aid here in a second. You'll have to pardon me for my shoddy editing skills, and look at those flawless nails that my guy Berserker has. Anyway, so this game came out recently, and it was $50 when it launched. It has 14 characters, and it was developed by French Bread. French Bread has worked with Arc System Works very closely over the years, and they launched a pretty decent sized roster, and I believe that this roster was only this size because Type Moon wanted it to be this size because it reflected who was in the latest visual novel for the Tsukihime franchise, which this game is based off of. But it's only 14 characters. It was $50. It's still a good game. It was a good game. It has good netcode. It has a good battle system, if you ask me. I don't want to tell people what is a good idea or like what's a good price for a game, but it's a video game. The standard price is $60. I don't really like the whole narrative of this fighting game isn't worth playing because, it costs this much. Like, it's a video game. It's a commodity, I wouldn't tell you to stop buying this brand of milk because it costs too much and wait till it goes on sale. So I disagree there. And also, here's another one. So this is Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger. Yes, I struggled to find a 720p picture of this. Calamity Trigger started out with, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 characters. This game was $60 in 2008 or 9, and honestly, it was worth every penny. Blaze Blue now in this day and age is a legendary fighting game, and there's a lot of people that started playing Blaze Blue with this game, myself included, that have a very high appreciation for it. And honestly, it's like $5 now if you like check on any like reseller site. But I honestly recommend it. It's a fun game. It's a good story. You know, I wouldn't like back in the day if you told me not to get this because it was $60 and it didn't have that much content, which it didn't have that much content. It didn't have you know a combo trial mode or anything along those lines. You just had to figure it out. If you got the special edition for 360, you got a DVD showing you some combos, and which was kind of rough, but you know, this was like back in the day, and this is only 12 characters, $60. Every character had a stage. There was more stages, and there was more music, but overall, it was like less content if you really think about it. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not trying to make this a whole hour.
Usually, they expect people to fall off of it, and the hardcore players stay and play the games. That's how fighting games work. I mean, but like they don't have to. That's what I'm saying. Like you can bring new players in and keep them there, and you know still have a relatively good fighting game. I just hope that in the future fighting games lean more towards like putting more content in their games, and making the games worth the $50, $60 price tag, rather than just having what 2 to 3 modes that you're gonna use really. Because I mean, what are people mainly gonna be playing? Ranked, usually, people that stay. But like,
I don't know about that, fam, because you know me, I'm a big player match guy. I have some friends that are on ranked like every now and again, but I think player match is like the most comfortable setting for most people. And I see this in Guilty Gear Strive, at least on PlayStation. You know, I stopped seeing so many people in the towers and started seeing more people that are actually in the park that are playing with each other because they don't want their rank to be affected, because that's one of those things that stresses you out while playing video games, which to me is like kind of like an oxymoron. Why would you want to be stressed out while playing video games? You know, that's why when I'm done fighting people online, I'm like, nah, I'm not finna fight this dude. You know, and I don't care if they follow me around the entire like player match area. I will leave, bro. I will leave them be, because I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to play people around the same level, maybe a little higher, so I could beat them a couple times. Even if they beat me 7 times, if I beat them 5, I'm happy with that, etc., etc. But I'm an anomaly. How do you guys feel about this? Do you just normally leave a fighting game? Because I can't really pay for something unless, you know, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it, right? Sorry, I worded that wrong. I can't really leave something unless I'm getting my money's worth out of it. And fighting games, I feel like it's something you could play forever, at least and as long as people are online. So, excuse me. I disagree there. I just disagree. You know, I don't think that people leave like there. Of course, there's like going to be some fall off with any fighting game, but there's going to be a fall off with like any game. I think this game really has a chance at some longevity, because again, it's easier to play it. You press a button forward and hit X, and something cool happens with like every character. You know what I mean? So. I gotta disagree there. Also, by the way, the price is not $50 in Latin America. So, and I don't know where else it's not like $50. It's like double that in some countries. But you know, we won't talk about that. I'm just talking about for the price tag of $50 right now. Let's carry on.
for the general video game player, they're usually not going to play a lot of these modes, like, or at least for an extended period of time. There needs to be something that keeps people playing the game. And as you can see, I mean, I have it in my cart, obviously, because I'm a fighting game player. I'm going to get it regardless. But like I said, like that's because I love fighting games. They need things in these games to keep people playing, like cosmetics or something. I don't know, more stages, more characters. It just needs more. It needs to be a full game, and most fighting games are not full games. That's all.
Let me finish.
I really have to say. Probably dragged this out a little bit more than it had to be, but whatever. It's
Listen, man, I dragged this out way longer.
Bye.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I do. I do want to see more DNF Duel content from him. But let me say this. I think fighting games are full games when you come to the realization that you're buying a game to play and fight other people. You know, when I get a fighting game in this day and age, since it's not the mid 2000s anymore, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, I'm not looking for I'm not looking for Tekken Devil Within. I'm not looking for the arcade history of the game. I'm not looking for any of that. What I'm looking for personally is I want a story mode. It can be good or bad. I think that the benchmark is you need to have a story mode. You gotta have arcade. You gotta have another auxiliary mode. Free battle seems like it's gonna be that mode. Excuse me. Free battle seems like it's gonna be like score attack. Then there's survival mode.
More than it had to be.
Excuse me, sorry, I had a bug in my throat or something. I had to pause the video for a second. I had to pause the video and I accidentally clicked a video of his to go forward. But yeah, so practice mode with the training mode, the tutorial also containing the combo instructions and all that. The replay, library, glossary, player profile, rank match, player match. Like, I don't think that this isn't a full game, and even if it isn't a full game, it's still $50 to you. You know what I mean? And if you can play this game longer than you can, like, I don't know, let's say like Life is Strange. Life is Strange full colors, or was it not full colors? It was true colors. I don't know how long that game is. I have it. I paid $50 for it. I'm supposed to be playing with my girlfriend, but she's like fucking busy, and when she comes over, I don't feel like playing the shit. That game, I don't even feel like playing most of the time, right? And I don't know if I beat that game, I can't see myself playing it again. And I enjoy Life is Strange as a series, but I just can't see myself playing this game over again. But with DNF Duel, I can see myself playing, dozens to hundreds of hours, just for the simple fact that I could play with people online. I could discover new things. It's going to get support from a fighting game publisher. Like, I just, two fighting game publishers. Like, I just don't know what exactly you want at this point, personally. Like, I don't know what mode you can add to 2D fighting games to, like, give them more diversity. Like, they keep doing different stuff. I think Metal Gear Solid almost said. Guilty Gear had the MOM mode. Blaze Blue had the Abyss mode, but I didn't really mess with the Abyss mode. I thought it was corny. I don't know many people that did play Abyss mode. I only seen certain Abyss mode videos on Twitter a long time ago, but no, I don't think that's a thing now. I don't think people actually play that shit. So I don't know, who knows. But that's all I had to say. I don't really have a problem with HTK. I just seen this video and I want to like say a couple of things, because there should be some nuance that is spoken when we're talking about fighting games in the now, and when we're talking about fighting games in the past, and when we talk about the price tag comparison. Because I could make an argument that Tekken 7 should have been $45, when it launched, because of its lack of content and it having like only 5 more characters than Tekken 5, when Tekken 6 had 40 characters. Tekken Tag 2 had 50 characters. I would say, and it had more content. I would say Tekken 7 has like half the content of Tag 2, but they still charge $60 for it. But that argument would never go over in the Tekken community. Those motherfuckers sent for that game. That game sold 9 million copies and has less content than the past like 3 games. It's pretty funny. But that's all I had to say for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with HTK? Am I just muttering too much? Do I need to drink a glass of water or something? Let me know. Later.